the bridge to nowhere. Why? Because they finished the bridge. It went from the city across the Allegheny all the way over here to our North Shore, and then it stopped because they hadn't finished the interstate, so it just ended. And of course, you know, they had signs on the bridge, you know, bridge ends, do not drive, stop, go back, whatever. And you know, there's always one guy. Yep, back in 1964, a college student, a chemistry student at Pitt University, took the family station wagon, a 1959 Pontiac, right off the end of the bridge. He wasn't even hurt, so that part's good. I'm sure his father hurt him. But the car was towed. I had to see him going home and talking to his dad. Dad, you know, I wrecked the car. You wrecked the car. What happened? Did somebody hit you? Well, you know the bridge downtown, the one that they didn't finish? I kind of forgot. I kind of drove off at the end. At which point I'm sure his dad went, what? And then grounded him until he was 50. So, but you know, there always has to be one. So fortunately now the interstate is finished and the Fort Duquesne Bridge does go somewhere. If you can see to our right side, at Pittsburgh from the other angle, we've got down and on the
So next time we are going to come there.
And you'll see some buildings that are really shining. And you can kind of see some red lettering at the bottom of that one. Those buildings are Gateway Center, and the building with the red lettering on it, the one closest to the river, is important because KDKA radio is in that building. And you're saying, okay, so what? It's a radio station. Well, KDKA radio was the very first commercially broadcasting radio station in the world. It went on the air in 1920, and it broadcast weather reports and election results. And if you notice, all the radio stations east of the Mississippi begin with W, west of the Mississippi they begin with K, but they've allowed KDKA to keep its K since it was the very first commercially broadcasting radio station. Now, I don't know if you can see up, but on your starboard side there's a building that says Highmark, and this is Fifth Avenue Place. And it looks a little like a hypodermic needle, I think. Some folks say a rocket. But anyway, on the top of the building, there's a big stick. Looks like a needle. And there's good reason why it's there, because the man who designed the building actually wanted the building to be that tall. And when he submitted the design to the city went, no, you can't make it that tall. And he went, what do you mean? I want the building to be that tall. And they said, no. And he went, why? They didn't want it to overshadow the other buildings, so he went, fine. And just to make a point, both literally and figuratively, he put a 13-story stick on top of the building. And it's on springs, so when it's really windy, the stick moves as much as 3 feet in the wind. Plus, when that building was first opened, hi guys! When the building first opened, there was a spotlight going out of the top of the building straight up into the sky, which was great, except for the fact that it was so bright it interfered with air traffic, and they had to turn it down. So now at night, it's just lit in blue lights. We are coming to our 3 sister bridges, the 6th, 7th, and 9th Street bridges. As we go under this first one, you can see a building over to our starboard side that has a cutout, an archway in the middle. That's the old Fulton building. It's now the Renaissance Hotel, and that was built in 1906. And the reason the archway is in it is because there wasn't air conditioning at the time, so they built the building that way so that everybody could open a window. The bridge that we are going under is the 6th Street Bridge and has been renamed the Roberto Clemente Bridge, in honor of pirate great Roberto Clemente. He was playing baseball back in the 60s and the early 70s. Now, as I said, the old Fulton building is now the Renaissance Hotel, so you can actually get a room in that building and stay there if you'd like. As we head up the Allegheny River, we are headed toward the second of our sister bridges. Now, these 3 bridges are basically all the same exact design with only minor changes, and they won a bunch of engineering and design awards. This next bridge, the 7th Street Bridge, is renamed the Andy Warhol Bridge in honor of the who is from the Pittsburgh area. And if you look over to our port side, you see a building that says Barnes White. Behind that building is another lighter colored building, and that is actually the Andy Warhol Museum. So you can actually go into the museum and tour the museum.
Good.
It's dedicated to the art of just one artist. My favorite thing in the museum, there's a room, it's called Clouds. It's a bunch of big silver nylon balloons and you just get to play with them. That's one of the exhibits in the Andy Warhol Museum. If you look over to your starboard side, right below the K&L Gates building, you see a building that looks like it's wearing a red crown, or it looks like there's a red onion on top of it. This is really funny, but I'm from here. I've lived my whole life here. Until I started doing these tours, I never saw that building. I don't know how that's possible, but until people said, what's that building? I had no clue. It was actually built in 1907. At that time, it was the tallest building. It's the Keenan Building. A man named Colonel Thomas Keenan built the building, and he used to live in that red thing on the top. That was his penthouse. Now it's just elevator equipment up there. We are going under the third of our sister bridges. This is the 9th Street Bridge. The 9th Street Bridge, renamed in honor of author Rachel Carson, who wrote the book Silent Spring, that was instrumental in getting the pesticide DDT banned for use. Because when DDT was being used, it was getting into the food chain, and animals such as the bald eagle were becoming extinct. The bald eagle would try to hatch its eggs, but with the DDT, they were so brittle and so thin that when it went to sit on its nest, the eggs would just crack, so it couldn't raise its young. So now with the banning of DDT, it's making a comeback. Now, if you look, this long, low silver building is the David L. Lawrence Convention Center. And there are some folks out in front and standing on the top. And what you will probably see today over there at the David L. Lawrence Convention Center is people dressed like animals because the furries are in town. This is Anthrocon. It's the Anthrocon Convention. This is the 7th year in a row that the Anthrocon Convention has come to the David L. Lawrence Convention Center. So the furries are out in force, wearing their ears and tails and waving. We had some skunks getting in a boat earlier. Everybody waved to the furries. These folks come to Pittsburgh every year. This year they bring about $5 million into the city. And I heard someone being interviewed saying, you know, if they go to another city, people hide, they're afraid, they look at them kind of funny. Here in Pittsburgh, we're used to them. Just go, okay, there's a fox sitting next to me at dinner, or a skunk, you know. So the David L. Lawrence Convention Center brings a lot of revenue into our city. This is the 16th largest convention center in the world, the second David L. Lawrence Convention Center to sit on this site, and it is a green building. Obviously not the colored green.